She jumped up from my lap and ran upstairs. I was too stunned to move. Joe smiled sympathetically.
She'll get over it, but I have to tell you, it's shocked both of us.
I didn't want to discuss my daughter's emotional state, so I turned to something safer. Plain facts. Tell me again? I can't quite take it in. I've heard stories like this, but I never believed any of them.
Urban legends, right?
I nodded.
Yeah, I guess I've heard those tall tales too, but I know a guy who really did find a skeleton behind the wall in an old house. It was an infant, probably someone's secret baby from way back when.
I shuddered. And this? He hesitated.
I'm no expert, but it's not a baby. And not so old, I guess.
He saw me turn pale and added quickly,
No, it's not a recent corpse. Only bones. Well, mostly bones anyway. But I had to call the police.
Of course, I said absently, still in shock.
We ought to leave it alone, not touch it, until the police come.
I won't touch it, but Chris has seen it. You show me too. He pointed to the jagged hole Chris had smashed in the wall and gave me his flashlight. I took a deep breath and stuck my head in. It was a walled-over fireplace, all crumbling brick and tile. A musty, sour smell filled the space. Mice, I thought, and yes, the flashlight beam caught a few tiny bones, then a flash of silver. It was a human body, all right, folded up to fit the space, but neatly arranged and partly dressed and pathetically small. I knew the living person had probably been bigger, that the skeleton tends to collapse. Even in the dim flashlight, I could see there was more there than bones. The body was wearing what was left of a tie-dyed t-shirt, and it was wrapped in the shreds of an Indian print cloth. It must have been wearing jewelry. The flashes of silver shone from among the wrist and finger bones, and near the head, where the ears might have been. The bones of one arm may have been wrapped around a large teddy bear. Neatly arranged along one side of the body were colorful, tattered squares, magazines, perhaps, and a twisted object made of metal piping. The sight took a minute to sink in, and when it did, I stopped breathing. I was looking at the remains of someone young enough to hug a teddy bear, old enough to wear jewelry. I thought of Chris's room with her stuffed animals still lined up on her bed, and her vast collection of earrings, and my eyes stung. It was warm and dry in there, Joe was explaining in a voice that seemed to come from very far away. A heat pipe ran behind the back wall, and the dry heat preserved a lot. Yes, I could see that.
So you can see why I think it's not that old.
Joe's voice came from behind me. I nodded. Relatively modern stuff, sort of 1960s, maybe?
That metal thing is a bong.
I never saw one like that.
You fill it with water, get a nice soft smoke.
My astonishment must have showed in my face, because he said with a dismissive gesture,
"Ah, well, it was all a long time ago, in my wild youth."
Joe, my voice shaking. This looks like a burial, doesn't it?
Afraid so. Hey, you look kind of pale. Do you need to put your head down on your knees?
No, I'm okay. It's not the bones so much. I took an archaeology course. I've seen bones. It's the teddy bear. And the hair. Dear Lord, Joe, did you see that? There's still hair on the skull. This was once a real person, with light hair and a teddy bear.
Here, take this. Sugar's good for shock.
He handed me Chris's still cold soda, and I touched the icy metal to my face as he gently guided me away from the wall.
You know,
he went on matter-of-factly, obviously trying to distract me.
Chris is doing fine on this job. She's been a lot of help, and she's really earning a paycheck.
He went on talking, but I didn't hear him. This was all my fault, Chris said, and in a way, it was true. I had insisted she take this job, and I knew exactly how she felt about it. She made sure of that by leaving a resentful email to her best friend up on the computer screen. Only someone who'd never heard of Freud could think that was an accident.